Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Tyrannoid here, and I am here with my review of Star Wars Battlefront II, which I obviously got a lot later than the rest of you. But I finally got it, and I think because I got it late, I managed to avoid some of the shit that has gone down with this game. Now, I went into this game very cautiously due to everything that's happened, and I didn't have high expectations at all, to be fair. I just sort of went in there and thought, okay, I'll play the campaign, I'll do a couple of multiplayer matches, that'll be it. And at the moment, that's what I've done. But my feelings are sort of wishy-washy. So basically, I'm going to review each part of this game. Now, I went into the campaign on hard difficulty because Dice's games are really easy, and I pretty much have to play all of them on hard because they don't take any real skill to beat the campaigns. So I've done that. I have played a couple of arcade matches, and I've spent a couple of hours with the multiplayer at the moment. So this isn't a um, well, it's not a sort of review where I know completely what I'm talking about. This is more of like a first impression sort of thing. But I had to get this out there and discuss it because I've had so much to talk about with this game. So we'll start with the campaign first. Now the campaign I had no I had no hopes for this at all because DICE don't make good campaigns, they really don't. I mean, the last good one that I can think, hell, I'd love to replay that, is Bad Company 2. Battlefront 3 was, I don't know what the hell that was just very generic and boring. Battlefield 4 wasn't much better. It was better, but it wasn't much better. And I've not bought Battlefield 1, so I can't say anything about that. But I went into this expecting a really boring, very generic and uninspired campaign, and we kind of got that. Basically the game follows a story of a character called Iden Versio. She works for the Empire. She's part of a special squad for the Emperor, and the game pretty much starts before the destruction of the second Death Star. And from there, you basically like play as Iden. You are leading a squad around, setting up something called Operation Cinder. That's it, Operation Cinder. I was trying to remember the name then. You're basically helping to set up this Operation Cinder. And a couple of missions in, it's probably about 4 levels in, you switch sides. So the whole I'm working for the Empire thing quickly switches sides, and there's not. It happens quite fast. It's believable for one of the characters to change. I think that one was a little more fleshed out, but Iden just switches sides so fast, it's kind of unbelievable. But then you sort of go around switching between different. You will keep going back to Iden, but you keep switching around and playing as different original Star Wars characters. You play as Han, Leia. I don't think you play as Chewie. I can't remember. You play as Kylo Ren. Who else is there? Leia, Han, Lando, and Lando has his original voice actor, which I thought was amazing because most of them are just impressions. Han's hit and miss. Leia's okay, and Luke's voice actor's kind of meh. But yeah, it was so cool that they managed to get Billy D. Williams back. But basically, the campaign is kind of like split into like 3 different types of gameplay. You've got your standard Star Wars shootouts. You know, the stormtroopers are crap at aiming. Well, they're better than the movies, but they're still crap at aiming. It feels very Star Wars, which is good. I did enjoy the gunfights. You've also got stealth sections, which they're all right. They could be better, but the problem is you get spotted way too easily. It doesn't feel like the stealth sections had much thought put into them. Then you've got the hero sections. Obviously, when you play as a hero, is playing as a Jedi or a Sith is absolutely amazing. That was like the highlight of the campaign. Um, Han's level isn't too great, nor is Lando's. Leia's got a fantastic level. I've not got any footage of it, but where you defend in feed and you're slowly falling back to the palace, and that was one of my favourite levels in the game. That was a standout level. And then last of all, you have a starfighter. You have your starfighter missions, and they are the best thing about the campaign. I was looking forward to playing the starfighter missions every single time. They never get old. The starfighter gameplay is so good, and I really, really felt like I was in the middle of an epic space battle every time I played them. But overall, that is pretty much the campaign. You're honestly just best to go through the campaign on hard difficulty because it's so goddamn easy anyway. I very rarely had trouble. As long as you're not a complete idiot, you can finish the campaign on hard very easily. Other than that, I think there's a few collectibles. There's like these little crates, but they don't really give you anything. And to be honest, you're best just playing through the campaign, just enjoying it. The collectibles don't really do anything, and you'll unlock a few rewards, like star cards and stuff, and credits and crates by finishing the levels in the campaign. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the campaign. So, moving on. So, next up we have the arcade mode, which I haven't really put a lot of time into. So don't take this as my definitive thoughts on all of this. I have played about 4 of the arcade missions on all the difficulty settings as well. It's basically just, you've got different challenges. Some challenges you'll just be one person, one character, taking on a ton of people in a set time limit. Others, they'll almost be like the old skirmish battles in the old Battlefronts from the PS2 era. And the difficulty settings, they do get quite tough, but the difficulty settings basically just you get less time, and you get less abilities. Like, 'cause obviously all the characters have got 3 different abilities. By the time you get to the last difficulty setting, you have no abilities at all. The Darth Maul one is actually incredibly tough. But they're fun little mini games. They won't keep your attention for long, but you do get rewards, star cards, and crates with them. So it's still worth doing. But that's pretty much all I've got to say on that one, guys. The arcade mode's just there, really. I can't imagine once I've done all the stuff that I'll be going back to it. But there is also, in that section, you can play split screen, offline, or, I don't know. No, you can't. Split screen, offline, battle scenarios. It doesn't seem to have all the maps, or maybe I'm not looking correctly. Which, if that is true, it's a bit disappointing. I need to have another look again, but basically you could just play online battles, but offline with friends, whether you go against them or they're on your team. Which is good, because I do remember Battlefront 1 not having that for a good portion of its lifespan, so I'm glad they've got that straight from the get-go here. But yeah, guys, other than that, that is arcade mode for you. A fun little distraction that won't keep your attention for too long, but it's a nice little addition to the game. So, next up, we have the multiplayer. And I'm going to go through all the different game modes here. And before you all start thinking, right, he's got to mention the crates, I'm saving that for the section at the end. That's going to be at the end of the review. But, the multiplayer. I have played, I'm not going to lie, a couple of matches on each game mode. And I will be actually uploading all of my first gameplays, sorry, with each of those individual modes, so you can look forward to seeing that on the channel. On some of them I do well, on some of them I don't, but we'll go through the game modes. First of all, we've got Galactic Assault. You should all know what Galactic Assault is. It was basically, actually it was Walker Assault in the first game, but it's basically a variation of that. But each of the planets have their own individual missions. You've got the attackers, you've got the defenders, and it's objective-based gameplay. It's essentially a Star Wars version of Battlefield's Rush mode, and I would say it's probably one of the best modes in the game, just because the battles, basically there's so much variation. The battles are, you're never going to have like the same sort of game each mode. Like obviously if you have like a team deathmatch, they're pretty much going to be the same thing every time. You're going to go down the same route, you're going to kill the people in genuinely the same area. A mode like this is great, it's great fun, and obviously I think the point system could probably be worked on a bit more. I mean, some of the stuff is really expensive, and some of the stuff is really useless as well. Again, this was my gripe with the beta. You got things like the LAAT gunship. Why can't we fly that? Why are we on rails? It's just ridiculous. It's not a particularly overpowered thing either. So what's the problem with us letting us fly it? But yeah, Galactic Assault, from what I've played, is fun. There are some balancing issues, but that's going to fall into the crates bit at the end. So moving on, we next have Starfighter Assault, which is my favourite mode. Like I said, I love the Starfighter gameplay in this, and it's even more intense when you fight it against other players, because there are some crappy players, but there are some really good players as well. Starfighter Assault plays out just like Galactic Assault, really, only you're in space. In the couple of games I've played, I have both done well and been dominated. So, yeah, but it plays really well, and it does feel more balanced than Galactic Assault. Like, obviously, I know star cards and stuff are still involved, but I felt like the level playing field was there a bit more than it was on Galactic Assault, which is a good thing, because that's my favourite mode. But yeah, other than that, it is just literally a space version of Galactic Assault. So if you love the space combat, good stuff, you're going to love this mode. So, next up, we have Heroes and Villains. Now, this one is a bit like hit and miss. It's basically two teams, 4 people on each team. You play as the hero characters. My gripe with this is the fact that the star cards can make some of the characters incredibly overpowered. Another issue is that you've obviously got to unlock some of the best heroes in the game using credits, and credits don't come that fast in this game. I found myself pretty much stuck with, like, I think I had Ray, but that was it. But I pretty much found myself stuck with someone using a blaster, which makes it very unfair when you've got like 3 force users coming at you. Which did happen a lot in the mode, and as well as that, that was another thing. I felt like the force users were basically really overpowered, especially the fact, like, if you're using a gun, they can just deflect every single shot you've got, and it's hard to find a way around them to shoot them in the back, and it makes the game very unfair. I imagine if we were all force users, it might be a little more fun. So maybe I'm just going to need to unlock more characters. But that is actually a really shitty thing, that you've got to unlock the best characters, essentially. And they're not even the best, they're regular characters. It's Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, freaking Chewbacca, you know, so that's a big disappointment. So the next game mode is Strike. Strike is a very fun game mode, actually. It's a smaller, I think it's 8v8 mode. It's just a smaller version of Galactic Assault, really, only the maps are a lot smaller and there's just one sort of objective. You're just basically taking a package and escorting it to a destination. The enemy will have to stop you. It's simple, but it's fun, and it's a nice change of pace from the big objective modes. From what I've played, it's probably my second favourite game mode, just behind Starfighter Assault. I'm hoping to experience some more of the maps, actually, because I really haven't experienced much. So again, remember, I've not played much of this, so don't take this as my definitive result on the game, but yeah, that's a good game mode. And finally, we have Blast, which is Team Deathmatch. That's all it is, it's Team Deathmatch, and it's It's all right. It's a bit boring. I mean, this game, in my eyes, was for the big battles, which is strange, really, when I just said I liked Strike, but I do like Strike. But it's 10v10 team death matches, and the maps are good, but it's a bit boring. You want to be involved in all these big battles with aerial combat going on above you, and you're just kind of locked in basic warfare. And I didn't enjoy the mode that much, and to be fair, I probably won't play that mode again. It'll probably just be more of a I'm stressed with the big modes, I'll just go on that for 5 minutes sort of mode. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the multiplayer, done and dusted. That's my thoughts on it. So, onto the crates. Basically, guys, with this game, there are the supply crates, which you know about. Well, supply crates, supply drops, they're all the same thing. And the progression system, unfortunately, is tied to these supply crates. And these supply crates are uneasy to get. They are very tough to get, actually. You don't get enough credits in the game, and I know EA have fixed that, but they've not fixed it well enough. You don't get enough credits, you don't get enough crafting parts, and unfortunately, central parts of the game, like hero characters, are locked behind huge paywalls, and upgrades that other players are unlocking. It's essentially a gambling system. Fair enough, even if the crates are easy to acquire, the fact of the matter is it's a gambling system. I could go in there and I could have enough credits to buy 5 crates, and I could come out with all common, useless stuff. Someone else could go in there and buy 1 crate and come out with 3, like, epic star cards or something. And unfortunately, because this is linked to the progression system, there's A, no sense of achievement when you rank up, and B, it's very unbalanced. I mean, it's not too unbalanced in some sections. For example, like the Starfighter Assault, I felt was a lot more balanced. The star cards didn't really affect that. But my first game on Galactic Assault was very unbalanced. I mean, I was losing to someone who had like a 4-star epic star card, and I had nothing at the time. So I was getting my ass kicked, and no matter how well I play, I couldn't fight him, which is really disheartening for the player. So yeah, that's rubbish. And then there's games like Heroes versus Villains where, I mean, I've already touched on this, but the Jedis are powerful enough as it is, but with these star cards on top of them, they're almost unbeatable, and all their powers are ridiculous. But the problem is that no matter what EA does at this point, they cannot fix their mess. There's a good game underneath here, but it's covered in shit. It's a gold bar covered in shit. And I know that's the weirdest metaphor I could use for all of this, but it is. It's a very good game underneath. I mean, there are some mediocre parts, but it is a good game. And it's ruined by this progression system. And I mean, I'm gonna keep playing, and I will still have gameplay on this channel. But there is nothing they can do to ever fix that progression system because it's so tied in with the loot boxes. So honestly, it's a good game with right now a gambling problem that's letting it down. The only way they could essentially fix this is by having, because obviously they've got crates for specific things at the moment, like starfighters, heroes, and characters and stuff. But maybe if they made it even more to the point, like assault, defense, health, reload, weapon abilities, even more specific crates, so you know what you're getting instead of having this crazy ass gambling system. But that's it overall, guys. It is a good game. Okay, and if you can get past this progression system, you will have a lot of fun. Unfortunately, you will have to be playing for a good maybe 10 hours before you've got enough good stuff that you can combat some of the people that have been playing this game for a long time. But that's my review, guys. Like I said, a gold bar covered in shit that describes Battlefront 2. There will be gameplay coming up onto YouTube for it. I have got quite a bit of gameplay from it now, so look forward to seeing that, and I hope to see all you guys here soon. I will be doing reviews again eventually. I will get back to them, I promise you. I've just got so much stuff I want to do. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Thank you for all the support, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.